besides like just the confidence and like, I don't know, basic knowledge of running, what do you think it makes trail running intimidating for people who mostly run on roads who are trying to come over into a little bit different format?
Good question. I think what makes it feel more intimidating, well, sometimes it's the pace. They're used to what they're used to, right? They can go at a certain speed, a certain pace. On the trails, they have to change it up, and some of them don't adjust to that well. I think a lot of folks are scared of tripping and falling, getting hurt, because it's undulating. You have objects in the way. Ironically, though, the trail is way softer than the road, so it's better for your joints and your body, and you use, moving back and forth and not just being in a straight line helps your muscles and your ligaments. So I'm always like, hey, it's actually a better thing to be on the trail. Other things that I think might hold people back. I mean, the confidence thing was the biggest one, but getting lost, I think, is another thing that, if they're, well, I can't follow a map well, and I usually always get turned around. Like, I'll hear that from folks. I'm like, well, just do an out and back, and you can take pictures at trail junctions. If you get to a trail junction, turn around, take a picture of it, so this is what it looks like when you are on your way back, so that you have something. But things like that, I think, keep people away. Out here, every once in a while, you get like, what if I get attacked by a mountain lion? I'm like, it's so unlikely. And if you're worried about that, then you should be terrified to drive to the grocery store, because you're more likely to get hit or get in a car accident going to a grocery store than you are to be attacked on the trail by animals or a person or anything. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah,
but
I've used that line a million times. I've used it a million times. So true.
So there's a handful of things I think, so there's not one specific thing. Time for women, another thing is time, but I'd say that's more of an issue with running an ultra versus maybe a 10K. How much time can they put in to train for it? Roads are more accessible. Trails can be a little trickier if you don't live close by a trailhead or next to, environment that allows you to hop on trails. So those things as well.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to remember, being in Colorado, how kind of lucky we are here.
Yeah.
Well, just a lot of the West Coast. There's trails on the East Coast for sure, but they're not. There's not as much public land back there, and there's not as many trails in most states. It's gotten better over the years. Like when I go back to West Virginia, even like there's some really good trails where my mom lives now, which is pretty cool. But just the access and realizing that you don't have to train on trails all the time to go and train for an event and go somewhere. Like the learning curve is pretty quick. Like your body's going to adapt to whatever's thrown in front of it. And if it's so technical that you can't manage it, then you just power hike and figure it out. And it's just a lot of the stuff. It's not as important to be perfect at something before you go out there and try. And I think a lot of people hold back because they want everything to be dialed in. And for me, that's what I love about trail running, that it is so variable, and there is a lot of troubleshooting and figuring things out when you're out there. It's kind of cool. It makes it a lot more interesting than roads, besides the fact that my body prefers to be on trails and pretty places than on cement anyway. But when you can make that switch, it's a little more engaging, and I think people get addicted pretty quick when they figure that out, which is pretty cool.
100%.